You are watching an MLGA Network live broadcast. The only people for me are the mad ones. The ones who are mad to live, mad to talk, mad to be saved, desirous of everything at the same time. The ones who never yawn or say a commonplace thing, but burn, 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 like fabulous yellow Roman candles, exploding like spiders across the stars. Welcome to the first ever episode of The Mad Ones. Unfortunately tonight, Jessica, aka Soup Can Green, was unable to make it. She's out there being a helper and helping a friend of hers who recently had, I believe, their second baby. And once you start adding babies, things just get... But unfortunately, she couldn't be here today. She will be here next week. But today, in her place, to take up the co-host spot for tonight, I have the only man that you should ever buy a microphone from, Mr. Dent in the world. How you doing, Dent?
Man, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing all right. It's kind of funny. Like we had planned to do the first episode this week, but both of us last week, when we made all of the decisions to rebrand, like the beginning of last week, just completely forgot that she was going to be out of town. And so she's very disappointed that she can't be here. And we're both disappointed that we both forgot that somehow, but alas, we're here. And today I need to introduce the man of the hour, the guy in the hot seat, the UniBaller himself, the man you may know from Rebel with a Cause and Anarchy in Space, a literal fire crotch, and an all-around stand-up guy, Mr. Eric Hailar. How you doing, buddy?
Thank you for that wonderful, warm introduction. Just fire crotch, Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, let's be real. I mean, you are a ginger.
Yes, very much so. Although,
and then you literally took
these days.
That's true.
Frosted,
but
ginger.
you did take fire to your crotch, which is why that pun was there.
Yes, the wonderful 2004 incident. Gotta love it.
I feel like people need to know about this incident.
Okay, so in 2004, I worked as a security guard, and I had worked, I don't know, close to like 100 hours one week. So I was like dead ass tired. Got out of my truck at 2:00 in the morning, coming off of a shift, and wasn't doing the muzzle discipline correctly, and put a 9mm round straight through my testicles. So destroyed my right testicle completely, and it grazed my left leg on the way out. And so that was not fun. That was not fun.
I believe the first time you told me the story, my face was probably something like, because I mean, just the idea of having one of your balls split open is just,
yeah.
Ugh.
So yeah, those silver tipped hollow points, they do work. I can verify it.
Well, let me ask you though, in that moment when you'd shot yourself in the testicle, did you feel as afraid as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez felt that day when she was hiding in the Capitol, allegedly?
All right. So here's the thing. When you make a bonehead maneuver and accidentally shoot yourself in a very uncomfortable place, I didn't realize I had shot myself at first. I was more concerned that I had just fired a round in the middle of the night. I was looking around to see if I had accidentally woken somebody up. So I'm like looking at everybody's windows, seeing if lights are going on. And then I checked the inside of my truck door because I was then concerned I had just put a bullet through it. I was like, okay, all right, none of that. I guess I got away with this one, and I'll just go inside because I have an awful powerful need to take a shit all of a sudden. So,
ooh.
But it wasn't that. It was lower abdominal pain that was now starting to creep up to the old brainstem to say, hey, by the way, idiot, you just shot your nuts.
I don't know why I laugh, but it's what. So I was talking to Britt from the Freckles and Britt show.
Yes.
The week before last, and we talked. She's in California. We were talking about guns. This was after the show, and she was talking about how she's kind of scared to hold guns sometimes because her brain just wants her to put the finger on the trigger, rather than having trigger discipline. And I was like, I know what you can do to make you never have to worry about that.
Yeah, just
accidental discharge. Yeah, right. Because I have this stupid 9mm. It's a Ruger LC9.
Yeah, the LCP.
And it has
LC9. Yeah.
It has the dumbest safety features. There's like 1,900 safety features in this gun. And one day I was sitting with my friends, and we all had our guns out. We just cleaned them, and I had, in order to pull the trigger, you have to have the magazine in for some reason. And so I had emptied the magazine. I cleaned everything up. I put everything back in the magazine. There was nothing in my gun, and I had it at, I carry, mag +1. I've got one in the chamber. And so I had nothing in the chamber. The mag was right next to it. Apparently, unbeknownst to me, a friend of mine sitting next to me had grabbed the gun when I went up to take a piss, had put the magazine in, racked one into the chamber, took out the magazine and put it down. And so me, I drank a little bit. I picked up the gun and I was like, I'm going to pull the trigger to just clear that so that I just, creature of habit. And so I pull the trigger, and we're in this little tiny, like, 1-bedroom apartment, and I'm sitting in front of one of those TV trays. And I'm like, suddenly I'm sitting there and I'm holding the gun, and the next moment the TV tray is literally in pieces. There's a hole in the wall, and we were on the very bottom floor of apartments that went directly towards like a brick wall. So no one got hurt. No one actually even heard it, apparently. But that was the last time I put my finger on a trigger without doing that last minute check.
Yes. Yeah. One of the 4 rules: you treat every weapon as if it is loaded, and you violated it. Yep.
That's my pocket carry right there. It's a 32 ACP.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, wait, you want to see cute? Hold on, I'll show you.
Here's my wife's pearl-handled 38 special.
We're about to get cute up in here. So that's my little 5-shot 22. I carry this if I'm like maybe going to a friend's house, and the only thing that could possibly happen is, I get a flat tire and somebody tries to mess with me on the side of the road, or I have to go to a wedding and I don't want like a bulky, anything in my pocket. I prefer pocket carry, because if I've had a couple of parking lot incidents actually that it was very nice to have one of these with me. And so when I walk across parking lots, like from restaurants and things like that, I'm probably pointing a gun at you as I pass you. So that's just kind of my thing is I prefer pocket carry, and that 32 is really nice for that. But that 22 is, again, it's handy for probably not going to need it. I'll just put it in my pocket. I don't know, like even at work, and I even work at home, I carry it around, my house. I mean, just what happens if somebody shows up and goes nuts? Then you really don't know this thing is in your pocket. It just disappears. So. It's fun. It's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's like me. I carry a Glock 17 everywhere I go. So
every Glock I ever put in my pocket was just a little too bulky for me. So like I said, you can kind of tell that's a nice pocket carry right there. So.
Yeah. So to circle it back around, the gun that did it back in 2004 was a Ruger P95. So just gotta love that piece of garbage.
You should post that on their website, share that as feedback.
Hey,
I blew my ball off with your gun.
It worked. It was an $18,000 surgery I got for free. Thank you.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh boy. Well, let me ask you. And I've asked you this before, so I'm literally just asking because it's interesting to me.
Yes.
How's the replacement?
Yeah, I think it was 3.5 hour surgery afterwards, and they kind of put whatever was left of the testicle and sewed it back up to the scrotum, and along with the little plastic nudicle to throw in there as well. which was $4,000. I looked at the itemized bill. It was that was ridiculous.
Does it glow in the dark?
No. Should have sprang for the battery powered one. You know,
Vibrating
balls.
Hey, watch this, honey. Click. It's like, what is that? Like, well, there was this whole thing in 2004.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you were able to make a child. So, I mean,
No. I have
That was
no kids
before?
I have no kids of my own. I have adopted out of the foster care system.
Oh,
Which is
for
what
you.
which is what every good anarchist should do. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
yeah, David Derryberry from the Morning Drive with David, I think, adopted
Yeah,
3.
he's gone a little bit overboard with the whole adoption thing.
So tell me, what is a nudicle?
Well, that is the fake plastic testicle that they put in there. So
Is that like a technical term?
that's like its actual name is nudicle. Yeah. And
Wow.
when it happened, I was like, don't you just give those to dogs? Like after you
Right.
neuter them? And it was like, no, they make them for people too. I was like, why?
Wait. They give dogs fake nuts?
Yes.
I did not know that was a thing.
Yes.
Why?
Something to do with like sometimes the dog will know that its balls have been snipped, which, you know, it's like,
How do you miss it?
I'm looking back here and I'm missing some pieces.
Right.
Jeez.
Now I'm going to tear up your furniture for no apparent reason. Yeah.
I wonder if the Nudicle was named by like the first guy that that kind of like the Hurricanes. They get to name him. The guy was just like Nudicle. Yes.
No, we're neutering a dog. We'll just we'll call it a nudicle.
I'm gonna make everybody say this forever.
Yes. It is quite fun to say. Nudicle.
Yeah.
Nudicle. Yeah.
Makes me think of what's that hazelnut chocolate spread? Nutella.
Yeah,
Makes me
Nutella.
think
Yeah.
of Nutella. Yep. So, okay, I haven't asked you this before. What was your background previous to like voluntarism, anarchy, etc.?
Previous the awakening.
Yeah, were you a dirty neocon? That's the vibe I get.
Yeah, I was a little bit of a Republican asshat there for a while. Yeah, I always had this strange little streak of, maybe I don't really trust everything that the government says, but obviously I'm going to go join the military because, that's what you do when you're from a small town in the South. And so supported the first Bush. I was like, man. And then the Sun won me over with the whole libertarian speech of no nation building and we're not going to get involved in the Middle East. And, sure enough, months later, it was like, no, fuck all that. We're going to go over there and start some illegal wars and shit. Yeah. And then I had a brief little dalliance with the Constitution Party, which is nothing but a Republican circle jerk. I was like, no, the Constitution says this. No, it says that. Yeah. It's ridiculous. I'm always trying to start beef with Constitution Party. I just think it's hilarious. So.
Well, the Constitution says a lot of things. Unfortunately, it doesn't stop anything.
Yeah. The Lysander Spooner intensifies.
Yeah.
But yeah, then after that, became a little good little big L libertarian there for a little bit. And I was like, you know what? You're overhearing conversations that are taking place in the back room about who they're going to get to do next. And they're definitely lubing you up for Bill Weld by having him show up to the gala in 2018 with a full tux and brown loafers. So yeah, I was like, no, not this guy. Not again. Can't do it.
So what was the crystallizing moment? Who was it that made you decide to go towards the Libertarian Party?
Really, it was just myself, just kind of looking at everything and just kind of overhearing. It's like, you know what? I'm kind of done going to meetings, showing up with the Dans out there from New Orleans. It's like who handed me a copy of Robert's Rules, and I'm like, no, just no. What is the short and abridged version?
Rules of Order.
I don't care. Yeah, this is not how human beings talk to each other.
I was in the room with that whole Bill Weld situation in 2016, and my first experience of libertarian anything, I swear to you, was I drove to Florida and went to the 2016 convention, as a, conservative Republican type.
Did you hang out with Star Child? You gotta hang out. You gotta hang out with Star Child.
Yeah, I saw Star Child there. I didn't know who any of these people were. I think I told this story before, but I actually had lunch watching Tom Woods, and the guy sitting next to me had a rubber boot on his head. And of course, it was Vermin Supreme. And that was my first experience at the LP. I was listening to Tom Woods speak, and I was like, wow, this guy makes a lot of sense. But he's not talking about any conservative solutions, like political solutions, but he's talking to me kind of like a conservative. And then this guy sits next to me, and I find out much later, oh, that was Vermin Supreme. I had lunch with Vermin Supreme. But I was in that room, and I will tell you, holy shit, those people were so pissed off. They didn't like Gary, but the Bill Weld thing, the murmuring that was going on behind the C-SPAN cameras was really intense. A lot of
Larry Sharpe almost beat him. It was like 47 votes or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, it was just a constant murmur of disapproval. Those people were so pissed. And Sarwark was taking every opportunity he could and coming up to the mic and just selling people on the idea that if we had Bill Weld and Gary, then they would get interviews with the big
legitimacy.
Yeah, exactly. And he, every chance he got, if there was a blank moment, Sarwark would go up to the mic and beg people, please give me Bill Weld and Gary. And of course they did. They had to do a couple of votes, but they got it. Those people were so pissed. Like the core of those people were very pissed. Yeah.
In 2018, they were definitely lubing us up for Bill Weld again. So he was like all over the convention floor. And then the famous GIF, if you guys look it up, where Bill Weld is dancing at the gala with his little brown loafers on. I'm like 10 feet away from him when that happened. I was like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Brown loafers and tails, a tux with tails.
Yeah. And then he decided that he was going to primary Trump.
Right.
And
that worked out real well for him.
Nobody even knew, what was going on at all. Although I think the worst of those guys was the former governor. I'm here in South Carolina, Mark Sanford. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but Mark Sanford decided he was also going to primary Trump. And Sanford, I believe he was in Pennsylvania. So he did an event. And he was standing there with like $1 trillion check, right? Because he's Mr. I'm going to control the spending. And one person showed up, and the guy was a Democrat that Sanford had taught his daughter when she was in college. And he just wanted to shake his hand and say hi because he was in the area. That shit was fantastic.
I was just driving by. I thought I would stopping.
That's literally who showed up, was that one guy, and he just wanted to shake his hand.
And
his $1 trillion check.
That's fun. A libertarian candidate can at least get 10 people in the same room together.
Okay, so do you remember? I don't know if anyone else remembers this, but I think it was the 2016 Libertarian National Convention. I guess the Mises people had their own little setup at the thing. And Eric July performed.
Yeah, that was 2018. I was there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
and I just saw a video of Eric July performing and like 7 or 8 people headbanging as autistically as possible, and I laughed for about 45 minutes.
Yeah, I was right before Tom Woods came up to get his speech. Somebody was calling me back because they were going to do some kind of vote on the floor, and I was a delegate, so I had to leave there, and I missed all of that stuff. I was so mad, but I did get to see Tom Woods later that day. I was walking right past him. I said, "Hey, Tom Woods," and just kept going. So
he said, "Hey, fire crotch."
No, he was busy talking with his entourage, which included one Nick Sarwark, which I thought was kind of funny at the time.
Yeah, that is that's a little off.
All right, so I've got a fun Nick Sarwark story. So after the 2018 convention, one of your buddies there in South Carolina come up with a vape, and he was like, "Oh man, I would love to get a vape with the chair." And I was standing right there because I was like, well done. My guy didn't win, but well done, type of thing. So we both hit this vape, and then the guy says, "By the way, that was so much weed." I had spaced out, and then like the moment I came to, I was like talking with Drew Leda from Oregon. I was like, how am I here talking to you right now? I don't remember what happened.
The South Carolina guy, was he like a early to mid 30s guy? I think he was from the
he had like
area.
a whole bunch of he had a whole bunch of light up little jump ropes or something that he was twirling around in the dark and creating his own rave.
I remember because I remember I met the delegate guy from South Carolina at the 2016 convention, just asking questions and things. So
yeah, he was one of your fellow countrymen over there.
Yeah,
got me fucked up on his vape.
So much weed.
Yeah, he's like, dude, that was so much weed. It's like, oh, great. I'm already drunk. This is not going to be fun.
My only experience with Sarwark was, again, as a pretty much a conservative that knew that I just needed to get away from conservatism. I'm pro-life, and I had gotten in touch with Sarwark through the Facebook page, and he was actually private messaging me. And my whole thing was that I thought that they should at least remove the abortion platform from their list. And
doing away from the plank.
Yeah, from the plank. And he pretty much was like, I don't know, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. And then when I was there in 2016, they had a very small majority that wanted to change or delete the plank, but they needed a super majority, so it stayed on there. So I was like, there you go. So they just left it alone. Yeah,
it came up again in 2018. And I remember what the hell is that? Daryl Perry came out. It was like, they're doing the abortion plank. And we all came running back in there. It was kind of fun.
Man, that guy, he was a hoot in the 2016 debates. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Showing up with white socks and sport shoes and a suit that was way oversized for him. Yeah.
Yeah. That was fun. And of course, all anybody remembers is Gary with the driver's license.
Yeah.
The whole room was just like, boo! And the amount of people that would boo at like, shouldn't we be able to sell heroin to 6-year-old kids? Boo!
With parental permission. Come on.
Right. You have to admit, that's a pretty easy one for like anybody who's even a little skeptical of like the LP.
Yeah.
And then all you have to do is show them clips of like talking about kids being able to buy heroin.
So dumb. It's like the easiest straw man to burn down. It's like, do you really think I want to give a heroin needle to a child? Come on.
I know. But people don't get that it's about not adding a jail sentence to things.
Yes.
They think that what you're saying is go do this. You approve this. Yeah.
No, I've had those conversations with the normies at some of the offices I've worked at. It was like, so are you saying cocaine is good? I was like, no, I'm not.
It's great.
Yeah.
I just don't want your only experience with trying to rehabilitate being, ash rape in a prison cell somewhere.
Yep. That's exactly right. If you wouldn't want that for your own children, I try to ask people that a lot. Like, think about this. Let's say your son is arrested for drugs, doing drugs, possessing drugs, selling drugs, whatever. What do you want to add to his addiction? What do you want to add to his problems? Is it a jail sentence? So why the hell would you do that to other people?
I've asked moms this, and then it's like, oh no, I'd be looking for every kind of deferral program I could find and bring it before the judge. I was like, really?
Okay. Yeah. So I think one of my favorite things about the LP is like, I feel like every time I've watched it, it's not been, I didn't watch any in 2020 because oh god,
yeah, so I could care less. I didn't. Yeah.
But like previous to that, it was just like all those debates felt genuinely just like, hey, how many catchphrases can I get out of my trap before the microphone shuts off?
Yeah.
And everyone's pretending like the old and overused cliches that they're saying over and over again are just the most incredible things they've ever said and anyone's ever heard.
I've really shut down the argument because I repeated what was on a bumper sticker. It's like, no, that's not how that works.
Can I just say also that just standing near John McAfee, or is it McAfee? I always forget.
McAfee.
Of McAfee, which has been on your show before. Just standing near him at the LP, I'm just going to go ahead and say, I don't think you'd want to be like stuck in an elevator with that guy. It's just, it's super bad vibes. It's buried bodies vibes, and you just can't escape it. It's super weird. I'm just going to say, like, his aura is like not good.
It's just manic. That's all it is. It's just mania.
It's bad. Yeah.
Probably got a contact high. Didn't even realize.
Yeah, probably.
Can you get a contact high from cocaine?
Dude, McAfee, man,
just like
pat him on the back, a whole bunch of white dust comes off. I'm just saying.
He was great in the debates, though. I enjoyed watching him in the debates. It was weird being like near him, like in the hall and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what's interesting is, like, I've talked to a couple of people in the past, and I'd said, I talked to John McAfee on on the show before, and they, like, several people have all said the same thing, like, well, I kind of feel like I wouldn't want to do that because he gives me bad vibes. Or they'd be like, well, how'd they put it? That talking to him, he just kind of goes and does his own thing and just kind of rants, and it's no fun. And I was like, here's what you do. You start off by calling that woman who made the what's it called? The documentary about him, a horrible bitch.
Right. Yes.
And then he'll laugh, and then from there you get to dictate the rest of the show.
That's a good approach.
Yeah, I think I shocked somebody who was like, well, he's doing the rounds, so you could have him on yours. And I was just like, yeah, I don't talk to politicians. Sorry.
Yeah, that 2016 though, that might have been his last sort of like public appearance before everything just went downhill for that guy. He was on the lam shortly after.
Yeah, he was in the middle of the ocetion and stuff when we were.
Yeah, he was doing doing island hopping down in the Caribbean there for a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then he shows up to Cuba and like wants to praise Che Guevara. I was like, what? No. Like if you're the boomer con, he still wouldn't praise Che. I mean, what are you guys doing?
Well, speaking of horrible bitches, I do kind of want to talk about this AOC thing that happened this week.
Oh, yes.
Did you actually watch the video where she detailed what happened?
Yeah, I've seen several of the clips, and she, is looking all concerned and wide-eyed, and the Capitol Police officer, I could tell he had bad intentions by the way he looked at me. I was like, what?
Yeah, that was really strange. And it's like, I keep seeing different people debunking her story, which I think is just wonderful. But no, I did watch this little clip, which people said was the most heart-rending clip that they saw in her live. So if you haven't seen this, just try not to roll your eyes. No, just do it. Just roll your eyes.
Like, I'm here, and the bathroom door starts going like this. Like, the bathroom door is behind me, or rather in front of me, and I'm like this, and the door hinges right here. And I just hear, where is she? Where is she? And this was the moment where I thought everything was over.
Look at all the simps just giving the hearts.
And the weird thing about moments like these is that you lose all sense of time. In retrospect, maybe it was 4 seconds. Maybe it was 5 seconds. Maybe it was 10 seconds. Maybe it was 1 second. I don't know. It felt like
those hearts.
My brain was able to have so many thoughts.
It was the first time
in
ever.
that moment, between these screams and these yells of "Where is she? Where is she?" And so I go down, and I thought I was going to die.
No, you weren't.
And I had a lot of thoughts. You have a lot of thoughts. I think when you're in a situation like that,
E-thoughts.
and like also one of those thoughts that I had was, I just happened to, be a spiritual person and
Totally.
be raised in
Oh,
that
spiritual.
context,
Look
and
at the hearts go on
really
that one.
just felt like, if this is the plan for me, then people will be able to take it from here. I had a lot of thoughts, but that was the thought that I had about you all.
Oh my God, this is Miss North Carolina all over again.
I felt that.
I think that was South Carolina.
If this was the journey that my life was taking, that I felt that things were going to be okay.
Oh, there it goes. Crocodile tears. Oh no.
She needs to be sent some fart kisses.
Reminds me of Joe Bluth. There was a scene in Arrested Development where he thought that I think they thought Tobias was dead. And he's like, the tears, they're just not coming. The tears aren't coming.
Yeah.
What was interesting about this whole story is she also mentioned that in the past she was sexually assaulted, which I don't question. I mean, sure, but
yeah, I mean, given everything, she is a pretty gal. We'll give her that. And sure, probably dudes have been rather inappropriate with her. But
right. I mean,
like one of the woke brigades. So did he just say, "Oh, well, those are nice pants. That's some nice shoes there," and that was the sexual assault?
There's no telling. I mean, that's the thing. She, by all means, she could have been sexually assaulted. That's awful if she was. But the thing about it was she used that to say that Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz were using the same abusive tactics that rapists use and groomers use to shame her into not talking about what she needs to talk about.
Right.
And it's like, this is the most emotionally manipulative bullshit I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, my favorite thing was somebody had posted the street map of the Capitol complex, and it's like, your office is here. People entered the Capitol Rotunda, which is over here next door. They weren't in your building.
Yep.
You are in the Cannon building with all the other offices. They were in the Capitol Rotunda. You were nowhere nearby. But you did put out another
other Congress people or Congress women. Didn't a bunch of others say that, they were with her and witnessed the same thing? Didn't they try saying that like a few days ago before everybody knew? Yeah.
So there's that photo you were talking about.
Yeah. Rep. AOC's office right there. Yeah. You're down the street.
Yeah, the U.S. Capitol, right up there. And then her office is way down here.
Yeah.
And she did not like that Jack Posobiec, is that how you say his name?
Yeah, Posobiec, yeah.
Put up this and said that it, they tried to get into multiple places. They also put pipe bombs in this area and that area.
Yeah, right.
And it's like, well, no, they put pipe bombs at the DNC and the RNC.
Right, which you are also not nearby.
Right.
Yeah. And then apparently a lady named Representative Nancy Mace works in the office down the hall from her.
Yeah.
And so she said, AOC made clear she didn't know who was at the door. Breathless attempts by media to fan fictitious news flames are dangerous. My office is 2 doors down. Insurrectionists never stormed our hallway. Egregious doesn't even begin to cover it. Is there nothing that mainstream media won't politicize? Watch me stutter.
Yeah.
But no, so this woman's like, no, I was 2 doors down. No one ever came in.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, there was probably somebody yelling, "Where is she? Where is she?"
It was the cop.
It was the cop.
Looking
for her to make sure she was okay.
Right, and her thing is to go, I'm no fan of cops, but it's like, if the cop is there to save you,
right? Yeah,
you don't go, well, he had a. How did she put it? She said that the police officer bursting into her office, she said his presence didn't feel right.
Yeah,
and that he was looking at her.
Yeah.
He was looking at her in all of his anger and hostility.
Yes.
So this person who's honestly, if this cop was like really worried that some of these people may die, he's in mode of, you got to get out, got to find her. Where is
Yeah.
she? Where is she? And she's like, well, I think he might be a white supremacist and he came to kill me too, is kind of the subtext of what she said. It's like, God, you bitch.
I think she said something also like, oh, and you're also discounting that there's tunnels.
Right.
Like they were coming up through tunnels together, like freaking Chud
the mole people.
Shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that ought to do Monica Perez, a little bit of justice there, because she's always talking about the tunnel people now. So
Demolition Man.
Yes.
I need to watch that movie because apparently I'm the only one who hasn't seen it.
Really?
And so she brings it up and I'm like, somehow it was probably, I think it probably came out at the point in my life when I couldn't watch those movies.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And so I just never saw it. But I hear about it so much now.
Rated R. Ara.
It's worth seeing. It's worth
hard
seeing.
Ara. And it is actually worth seeing because the Wesley Snipes did a great job with his blonde hair and his brown and blue eye, which was just kind of weird. That whole movie is strange. It's like, can somebody get the talking couch away from me?
Oh boy, but that's what's so funny is, she's like, the first time I watched that video of AOC, I can't tell you how hard I rolled my eyes when she started talking about how she's a spiritual person.
Yes.
And she knew this is if this is the time that was chosen for me. I'm just like, are you though?
Yeah.
Something about that doesn't ring true. I don't know if I'm not trying to say she's anything. I'm just saying sounds like emotional manipulation to me.
Yeah, it is. That's all it is.
Yeah, I mean, well, she's a politician, and I mean, on top of that, I mean, any person who can start at negative 27 trillion and pass more spending bills, you were only dealing with the emotional portion of the brain here.
Yeah,
everything else is completely shut down. So
yeah, so I had sent out that little subtweet right afterwards. I was like, guys, it's like none of that matters. My feels. Because everyone was pointing out, is like, well, no, her office is over here. There's no way that people could have been there. Got this tweet right here that says that nobody came into the building. I was like, no, doesn't matter.
Well, it made me think. It made me think of her and all the people who were like Rand Paul being rushed by those people. That he wasn't really in danger. Why would anyone say blah? And it's like,
yeah,
you heard knocking.
Yeah,
maybe. You had a cop come to help you, and you're acting like you were dying. Yeah. Like she kept saying, she actually tweeted that Ted Cruz had tried to have her murdered.
Yes.
She says
after he was
to
willing
him
to help her on on legislation.
Yes. Yeah. She said, no, thanks. You tried to murder me 3 months ago or 3 weeks ago.
It's like attempted murder is a serious charge. You want to go ahead and do that one in court? Yeah.
I wonder if a guy like Ted Cruz would go after her, for some kind of libel or something like that for having said such a thing. You tried to have me murdered. It's right there in print. It's like, that's insane.
Well, he is the Zodiac killer. He would just do it.
That is true. So.
Did you see that some cryptographers actually took one of the letters from the Zodiac killer and were able to decrypt it?
Yeah.
And it was like, not very interesting.
Yeah. Not very interesting, and they're like primary suspect, maybe a mathematician in Berkeley. So,
well, I mean, they caught the Green River killer.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's possible that they get the Zodiac killer, but
yeah,
he's in the Senate. Why are you wasting your time doing cryptography?
He's the guy doing cosplay as Grandpa Munster. You just can't miss him.
Okay, so.
If all of those people had to die so that I could discover Hurdy-Gurdy Man, I mean, it was worth it.
So what's your favorite kind of pedophile?
Preferably the type that would just go ahead and kill themselves to save us all the trouble later. So
yeah. So I don't know.
It was a good one.
So I haven't read much into the story, but you mentioned it and I was like, oh yeah, because apparently, how many feds were shot? Wasn't it 3 that were shot, 2 that died?
Yeah, 2 that died, and I think there was 3 others that were injured, or I'm not sure if they were feds or if they were, Broward County Sheriff's Department.
Wait, where was the shooting? Was it in Florida?
Yeah, Broward County, where all
Oh,
the
God,
weird shit happens in Florida.
Yeah. No, I actually know someone who works for the sheriff's office in Broward County.
Oh, okay, Fed.
So I'm gonna have to add. Well, I was on his show at one point, and I like the guy a lot. But he was like, "Hey, you can come back on and we can debate this." And I'm like, I don't do that.
Oh. See,
Back in that blue.
I'm right, you see.
Why would I waste my time arguing or debating? Like, let's just have a fun conversation. I mean, no. But no, yeah. So apparently there have been a lot of, because there was the Q stuff, trust the plan. There are all of these. Child trafficking rings that are going to be taken down, and I've heard. I haven't heard that much, but I've seen on Twitter, no, on TikTok, that the guy who was one of the feds that was shot, and possibly I think the one that was killed, was like the lead investigator against all of the child trafficking and all the stuff that's going down. They're going to take down all the child traffickers, and I was just like, this just sounds like some Q shit.
Yeah. Yeah, but the latest Q thing that I heard of was that Donald Trump will be sworn in as the 19th president because after World War II, they've all just been corporate CEOs and they haven't been real presidents.
Well, what I love is there's a guy you know Kevin Gutzman. He wrote the politically incorrect guide, I think, to the Constitution.
Yeah,
and he's written several books. He wrote a book on James Madison.
Yeah,
very smart guy.
Yeah.
But he's been on a kick on Facebook recently talking about how Biden isn't the 46th president. He's really the 45th president because you can't count Grover Cleveland twice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, yeah, but the reason they do that is just to make kids understand it. Like, it's not like... But who cares? It's their presidents.
Yeah.
They should all be, tried in
every single one of them is a war criminal.
Tribunals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Harrison would have been a war criminal, but he was only there for 30 days. So.
Yeah. William Henry Harrison, we decided, was the best president in the last decade.
Because he died in office before he had a chance to do anything.
So this pedophile in Broward County, he got the feds. What was it? Just sheriffs, or was it actually feds?
Yeah, there was a couple of agents from the FBI, the sheriff's department, maybe local police might have been involved too. But apparently they had narrowed down this child pornographer because he had the CP on his computer. And they tracked him down, and he wasn't going out without a fight, and shot a couple of them, and then turned the gun on himself. So,
wow.
I mean, he did one good thing on his way out.
Oof.
Yeah, so my boss was like talking about it on the lunch break, and he was like, "Oh, did you see this pedophile shot a couple of FBI agents and then killed himself?" And I was like, "No, but that's fucking awesome. High five, bro."
If he hadn't killed himself, it would be just kind of like half a win.
Yeah. Yeah, so then after that, I did see the memes of the Incredible Hulk. It was like, I see this as a total win.
So tell me about, what was it that you called them earlier? The dungeons?
Oh, the oubliettes. Yes.
Oubliettes. There's the word.
Yeah. So if anybody has studied the European history, there's castles. And a lot of times in the castles, there's this little dungeon and there was like a pit. And sometimes there'd be a spike at the bottom. But the oubliette just means forgetting place. So you would just toss your enemy down there and then just walk away. And, did they get impaled by the spike or did they starve to death? Who knows?
There's no telling. No one's going to.
Yeah, so that was always my idea for the pedo pit. I would just dig a deep pit and we would just throw the pedos in there, and that way where the pedo is at all times. And then you just walk away from the pit.
It's a cheap solution.
Yeah,
that's one of those arguments that I've seen online that makes me hate like the Libertarian Party, because it's typically the Libertarian Party people who talk about it.
Yeah,
but they're like, they're like, well, making child pornography is wrong, but is it really wrong to consume it? Yes, motherfucker.
Yes.
Do you know anything about how markets work?
It was a NEP violation from the very beginning.
Because, I mean, you're creating demand.
Right.
So you are a part of it.
Yeah. And then you just kind of note that one for next time. It's like, oh, okay. I got you.
I mean, anything can be defeated in snippets, but the LP, boy, they got it covered.
It was like everyone coming out with the whole age of consent laws need to be repealed. And I was like, guys, this is not the hill you want to die on.
Why do they choose why do these people choose these hills?
I mean, part of it, I guess, is bomb throwing. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to get you to think in a different way about a certain topic. But yeah, age of consent, we're all pretty much on board. Western civilization pretty much views you as an adult when you're 18. So, biologically, we can get into the whole thing about after puberty, everywhere else in the world considers you a fully formed human. So it's, but yeah, you're going to get lost in the weeds on that one really quick.
Well, and you just don't. Like there's
there's
no upside. There's no way to have that conversation, which I don't want to have anyway, without someone leaving going, "Oh, that dude's a pedophile."
Yeah. It's like he tried to rationalize it. I mean, it seems like he really wants to have sex with a 14-year-old.
Yeah, there's like people think that libertarians are just Republicans who want to smoke weed or whatever,
Libertarians are just Republicans who want to smoke weed and fuck kids.
Yeah, just those two things, though.
Yeah. There is the Povertarian caucus, so they can't even afford the plane ticket to Little St. James Island. So, yes, libertarians are Republicans who want to smoke weed, and Democrats who can balance a checkbook. So.
Well, it's like this reminds me of something. When I did have John McAfee on my show, in the middle of the show, like this was right after Epstein allegedly killed himself, and we're sitting there, and I'm just asking him because he seems like someone who would know this.
Yeah.
And I was like, so what do you think of this whole situation? He was like,
you seem like the criminal type. What would you do?
He goes, well, one thing that we need to get out in the open is that Jeffrey Epstein was a gay man. He didn't have sex with any. Well, he said,
yeah, I
don't like using, but he didn't have sex with any little girls. It was little boys he was into. And I was just like, is this verifiable?
Yeah.
This is interesting. Does anyone know, was Jeffrey Epstein gay?
I've seen nothing outside of McAfee saying that.
Yeah. Even in like the old court transcripts, you can't find anything alluding to that.
And everyone who ever came forward was a bunch of girls, and they always said that they were sent out to get more girls.
Yeah, he had his own little pyramid scheme going on there. So
you have to wonder, though, did John McAfee know him? And did he know that and no one else is talking about it?
I can't see McAfee getting into that circle, because Epstein's circle was actually pretty specific,
Bill Gates.
Well, he was a CIA agent.
Yeah.
I mean, for real, Jeffrey Epstein for sure worked with the feds.
Yeah, definitely in the Mossad.
I have no question.
No doubt. Yeah.
I literally no doubt about that. No, it's interesting. I've pondered that since then. Has anyone else ever claimed that Epstein was gay?
No.
Yeah, other than McAfee, I haven't heard anything. It was always like 14-year-old girls. So
yeah,
we do know he likes to try to have sex with whales. We know that much.
I think he tried to teach a course on that once, basically on Twitter.
Have you made the masterclass meme for John McAfee teaches you how to hump a whale?
I'm writing that down. Wow.
Yes.
Okay, I have to do that.
I mean,
seriously,
he had
writing a note
pretty
right
sound
now.
logic behind it. I mean, you could try. It's not like the whale is even going to notice you did anything.
That's it. I'm making it, and I'm gonna tag him in it when I create it. So,
hold on. I'm now getting a thought of
work on
Star Trek 4 and Spock jumping in to the pool to talk with Gracie, the humpback whale, and you could use that picture with McAfee's face on Spock to try and commune with the whale.
All right, I'll look at that too. Awesome. That is awesome.
That That movie actually predicted the future. We do have transparent aluminum now. So
Really?
yes,
I did not know that.
Yeah.
And whale fucking.
Yes, and whale fucking. That whale's pregnant.
Those two things happened.
Good Lord. So here's an argument I got on, because I argue about only the most important things.
Yes.
On Twitter, I got in a brief argument, and it was also on TikTok, about
You went full TikTok?
Southern. Oh yeah, I enjoy scrolling TikTok. I'm hip. I'm young. But I was scrolling, and there was this guy who was like, "Yeah, I'm from the South. I moved up north," and he's like, "Hey, he was talking to his girlfriend. Hey, would you like a pop while I'm in the store?" And I'm like, "Kill yourself."
Yes. Delete your account. Here's a belt, and there's a closet. You know what to do.
Dude, I understand people's frustration with like kids in the South who call everything Coke.
Yes.
I get it. That's
It's
a little
Coke,
weird.
and then you specify. Louisiana, we're known for having Coke and then also cold drink. So
Cold drink. Yeah.
cold drink.
But yeah, I mean, like I grew up, and for a brief time when I was a child, everyone called it Coke, and I did the same thing.
Yeah.
And then I grew up, and everyone else around me, we all just moved on to soda.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think that's the preferred term. I mean, by all means, it's
like saying
just the word
pecan.
for
it's
it.
It's just wrong.
Really, I think they used the wrong word. They shouldn't have called everything Coke. They should have called everything Dr. Pepper.
Yes. Do you want an RC cola? No. Go away, weirdo. Jeez. Cola.
Do you get Buffalo Rock ginger ale where you are?
Not that I've seen.
So it's
Usually get like Canada Dry ginger ale. And then that weird Fever Tree stuff. I'll see that. But
Fever Tree is pretty good. But
don't name your product anything after a fever. Why would you do this? It's marketing 101.
But one of my that was, I think, the first time I tried like a spicy ginger soda was the Buffalo Rock ginger ale, and it just punched you in the back of the throat.
Yeah.
And they don't have it, I guess, anywhere but Birmingham or Alabama. And so for years now, I've been trying to find it. And so like I keep getting these crappy ginger beers, and I'm just like, can someone please just give me what I want?
Yes.
Have you ever heard of the Blenheim ginger
Blenheim?
ale? Yeah, BLENHEIM. But they're in South Carolina, and they use a lot of black pepper. And boy, it's got kick. Yeah, I mean it hits, like you said, it hits you where you're like, as soon as you drink it.
Ginger by itself, I mean, is that can get pretty spicy.
Yeah, but black pepper in a drink is really shocking, and they put plenty of it in there. So you should look up Blenheim ale, Blenheim ginger ale. You'd like it if that's the effect you're going for. And I want to say they sell online. I don't drink soda or whatever, but I've had those in the past, and again, very shocking. Like, wow,
yeah,
very strong.
That's the thing that's always been kind of my deal. Is like I did smoke for a short time, and I always wanted the cigarettes that punched you in the back of the throat.
Right.
Like that's what I want for some reason. And so it's like I keep trying these subpar ginger ales, and I'm just like, take me back to Alabama, man.
Yeah.
Did you ever go through the unfiltered Lucky Strike phase like I did when I was a teenager?
I had Camel non-filters. That was my my cigarette of choice.
Yeah.
Non-filtered.
I didn't go through the phase. I did have I think I bought one pack, and I had a friend who would get them. But I found that probably my favorite, which I tried one not that long ago, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. This is just gross now. But the American Spirit Black, the Perique blend.
Yeah.
The nice thing about American Spirit is at least they don't add a bunch of stuff to it.
Yeah, they don't put a bunch of crappy chemicals all over it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if cigarettes were just tobacco and paper, probably everybody could smoke, and it would probably be okay because you wouldn't be like smoking, 30 of them a day. Because you wouldn't be like completely addicted to it. So,
yeah, I remember back in high school, in the 90s, we used to get Marlboros because they were the only company that was allowed to roll government weed for medicinal patients. And so every now and then you would get a Marlboro Red or something that had just a little something extra. And you'd be like, I recognize that smell.
Wow. Interesting.
They didn't clean the machine.
Smoking is gross, though. I'm very glad that I quit that years ago.
Yeah, it's so funny. I haven't smoked cigarettes since 2008, 2009, and every now and then I'll get like this weird craving where it's like, I could just go buy a pack of Marlboro Reds,
Yeah.
I burn your lungs out.
Yeah.
I quit the week of 9/11.
That was not a good week to quit.
Well, I had this weird cold, and I had like this little, like on the right side of my throat. Every time I would take a drag, it was just like biting. And I was like, this is so stupid. 9/11 was on a Tuesday, right? And I quit that Friday. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Well,
job.
all I know
Good
is
job.
that when I have a cold or a sore throat, I don't know if this is a normal thing, but I always try to find like a Coke or a 7-Up, something with that's like very highly carbonated to just burn the devil out of my throat. Yeah, because I swear to God, it helps. Is that something other people do?
I wonder if the syrup. I wonder if the syrup is helping it too, though. You know what I mean? Like basically, you're drinking syrup for coating it.
I
don't know, but that's what I always want when I have a sore throat.
That was like Mom's special recipe for when you were having an upset stomach. It's like, here, let's drink this warm and flat 7-Up. Thanks, Mom. Yeah. It's like, what are you doing? Here, have some Jell-O. Oh, great. So now my throw up will be red and lemon flavored. This won't traumatize a 6-year-old. Not at all.
Okay, so the first time I worked in software was it was a boring company that made boring things. But there was one guy that worked there named Mike, and everyone was like, okay, so Mike's a nice guy, but he's an idiot. And he's not going to last here that long. And I was like, I haven't, seen him be an idiot yet. So, I mean, okay, I'll just take your word for it.
How bad could it be?
And so one day he comes up to me and he's like, I'm smoking a cigarette. And he goes, he said, so I, you know how I quit smoking? And I was like, no, I don't, Mike.
Yeah.
Please tell me. And he goes, well, one day I wanted a cigarette, but I didn't have my lighter. He said, so I got my cigarette and I went over to the oven, the stove, and the red eyes. And he said, I went to go and light it off of the eye of the stove. He said, and I made the mistake of not doing the closest part of the eye, but the last part of the eye. So when I slipped and my face hit the thing, I decided that was the time I should quit smoking. And I go, oh, you are an idiot.
Yeah. You burned your face.
Gotcha. Yeah. And then he the day he was fired, he walked out and I was sitting there eating my lunch, and he was like, oh, well, I got fired. And I was like, sorry to hear that, Mike. He was like, you should be really careful with ibuprofen. And I was like, what? And he goes, well, one time, I don't know if you know this, if you take too much ibuprofen, it can rupture your stomach and, you can throw up blood and it can really hurt you. And I was like, okay, thanks, Mike. He was like, you want to know how I know that? And I was like, I absolutely do, Mike. Please tell me.
Yes, please tell me.
And he goes, well, he said, I had taken some ibuprofen and I started throwing up. And he said, and I saw red in it, and it was, I was like, oh, well, that must have been some Gatorade that I drank. I'm not bleeding from my stomach. It's just some Gatorade. And I said, had you had Gatorade that day? And he goes, no, I don't know why I thought it was Gatorade. I was like, dude, Mike, how are you alive?
Oh, bless your heart. Bless your little heart.
So pray for Mike.
F's in the chats, boys. He's probably dead.
If he's still alive, no one knows how.
Yeah. No, he's like that. He's like every drunk driver. They live because their body is so loose when they get into the accident.
Oh, Mike. I think about him every now and then, wondering what stupid bullshit he did to kill himself. Did you know if you eat too much beans, you can die?
It's like, so one day I drank 4 gallons of water and then I suddenly blacked out. I was like, okay, Mike.
I feel like everyone knows a Mike, though. If everyone's
Yes.
met a Mike at some point in their life.
You ever put wasabi in your butthole? Don't do it.
Yeah, it kind of.
Do you want to know how I know? I did it.
My personal favorite. We had a Mike in Army basic training, and we were learning how to set a claymore mine. Now, on the front of a claymore mine, it says "front toward enemy." Old PVT Johnson decided he was the enemy of himself. So when he set up his claymore, it was aiming right back at him. It's a good thing it was just made out of rubber. But the drill sergeant come by and he goes, "Front towards the enemy means not you, fucko."
Fucko. That's one of my favorite lines from Goodfellas.
Yeah.
So is there anyone that you know that was kind of like Mike that you're worried died in the stupidest way possible?
I have been close to that Mike myself, shooting my own testicle and everything. So
That's true. You are Mike.
yes.
You win.
Yes. And I've also burnt my face while I was doing pistol training. Everybody was smoking outside of the classroom, and there's this bucket. And inside the bucket, there's like some burned thing. So I was like, oh, okay, well, they just burned some stuff here in the bucket. It's okay to throw a cigarette butt right in there. Yeah, except they put gunpowder in it that hasn't been used. And so I hit the bucket in just the right way after watching 3 other guys dump their butts in there. Nothing happening. So I stand over the bucket, take one last drag, whoosh, right in the face. 2nd and 3rd degree burns all over my cheeks and everything. It's fucking great.
Man.
I always happen to be the guy that it happens to.
Yeah. Wow. You should tell AOC about these things.
So there I was.
Burning my face off.
Yes.
Dangling testicle.
Yeah.
God. I can't imagine shooting my own testicle. Like
Yeah.
I just
Not a fun time. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it.
Just don't
Mike.
do it. I gave myself a vasectomy. You want to know how? Yes.
So are there is there anything else that happened in your life that was also that level of stupid?
Nothing that was intentional. That's always been like stuff was like, oh, that was a close one. All right. So 30 miles off of the shore of Venezuela, there's a little island called Bonaire, and it's a little desert island type of thing. A lot of people like to go down there because it's got really good coral reefs to go dive on. And I'm not a diver, so I decided I was going to take all 400 pounds of myself back when I weighed that much down into a cave. And it's 105 degrees in the cave. It's wet. I slipped several times and could have fell to my death. But I'm still here. I made it.
How did you get down from 400?
Okay, so I've told this one quite a bit. It's very easy, but nobody wants to do it. No sugar, no grains, no potatoes.
That's me. And so I follow Vinnie Torridge. No sugar, no grain.
Yep.
And in
Donaldsonville, Louisiana is right over there. So
yeah, and I'm over 3 days into a 4-day fast right now as well. I follow Dr.
Nice.
Jason Fung. Last time I ate was Sunday. And so in fact, I was going to go at least until Friday, but my son wanted to have steaks tomorrow. And I was like, yeah, I'll break a fast for that.
Yeah, no, steak is fine. Yeah, you got to ease back into it.
Nope,
I remember doing.
I don't. I promise you, I did a 5-day fast last year.
F's in the chat for his bowels later.
Nope, it's not a problem for me. I broke a 5-day fast at a Brazilian steakhouse, all you can eat meat, and 0 issues whatsoever.
Man, it would have just been straight liquid for me.
Nope. I have no problem with it. 5-day fast, all you can eat steak.
Yeah,
that sounds great, except for the 5-day fast part. Like if we could just do the other thing every day.
Brazilian steakhouse every day. Yeah.
Yeah, fasting's interesting because once you like Eric said, no sugar, no grains. Well, now you're getting into a higher fat, lower carb situation where your body is burning fat. So you get into this fat burning mode. And so with fasting, I started getting into like 16-8, then 18-6. Then I start throwing in some 24s per week. Yeah. And then 1 year, I just said, I'm going to do a 5-day fast. And I did it. And now since then, the interesting thing about the one I'm on right now, I knew that I wanted to do one soon. I feel like I gained 2 to 3 pounds, like just over the holidays. And, I do cheat meals.
Expected. Yeah.
Right. I do cheat meals like anybody else did. And so it added up a little bit. And I'm like, I want to get rid of it. And I figured it was going to happen soon. I had to do it without planning it because there's this thing in my head. I can't say, well, I just got done eating dinner on Sunday. I'm not going to eat until Friday. I can't do that. I will be eating lunch on Monday. If I say I'm going to fast until Friday, my brain will just go, nope, not going to happen. So I didn't tell anybody. My wife didn't even know I was fasting until yesterday. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I just can't talk about it because if I do, it turns into a thing that talking about it is good enough.
Yeah, it's in the back of my mind, and then now I'm going to say it. So
right. Yeah. But it is difficult for sure in ways. I will tell you this, that once you get into fat burning, the first 2 days of fasting, very difficult. This third day has been a piece of cake. Tomorrow won't be bad. It actually gets easier.
Yeah, once you get into it, the longest I've ever done was a 5-day. Yeah. So
same. Yeah.
Usually when you get to about the 5th day, you're like, okay, I think I need to eat something.
Yeah, it's precisely for me. In fact, at least one of the 5 days that I did, I just couldn't help it. It was Friday and it was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I was literally just consumed with the thoughts of eating. I just couldn't get away from it. Yeah. And I went inside. And I think I just scrambled like 6 eggs or something.
Yeah, you might as well.
That's one of those things that's so crazy to me is I've known people who've lost like a lot of weight doing intermittent fasting. But when they post their food as if that's, something that's going to look appetizing to anyone else, like you just cooked up some ground beef and 27 eggs and that's what you're eating right now, like that's not appetizing. What are you doing?
So it changes when you get into that way of eating. And so just like chicken and beef in particular, I find that, let's just say that was your diet, that strong of a protein diet, dude, you are not going to want to sit there and eat like pounds and pounds of that stuff. And so like Doritos, I'm like anybody else, dude, you put a bag of Doritos in front of me right now, I'm going to get through probably the whole thing if I'm going to start it. And it's not like that once you cut out sugar and grains because there's an addictive quality to those. Yes. And it subsides. It actually does. And in fact, here's what's crazy. I've been doing this for 4 years. And the first year that I did it, I really lost all the weight in about 8 months. Our anniversary, and I started on January 1st. Our anniversary is in September. And I told my wife, like, you know what? I'm going to just go have a huge cheat meal. We went out to an Italian restaurant. Dude, I did so many things that I had not done that year all at once. I swear to you, I about went to a coma. My wife thought that I was going to pass out on the driving home that night. Yeah. I ate pasta. I ate bread. I ate more bread. I put sugar in my coffee. And then I started eating desserts. Yes. And I absolutely was like falling asleep at the table. I could not believe how bad I felt. And after 9 months of not having sleep apnea, because the inflammation went away and it stopped.
Right.
My sleep apnea came back that one night.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. Like on my birthday, I'll have like a big hunk of cheesecake after steak dinner. And that will be enough to send me on the toilet for 2 days afterwards. It's like my body is like, what the fuck are you doing? Stop it.
That's interesting that you say that because it's true. Like the quality of a carb laden shit is horrible. It's like, it's the worst thing to come out of your body. And you only know that if you're eating a lot of like meat and dairy and eggs. And all of a sudden you just have this day where you're like, fuck it, I'm doing cheat meals. The shit you take the next day is disgusting.
Horrible.
Yes. Disgusting. And then I start remembering, like, wait a minute, that's how I shit for the first 45 years of my life.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like people have got to check on you. It's like, are you okay in there? It's like, no, I had a cheesecake. I'm not good.
It's disgusting. It's nice while you're doing it. I mean, the cheat thing I get it. It is pleasant to experience it. I tell you, the one thing that somehow I get away with is ice cream.
No, yeah, I can't even do that. Yeah, that
Get
was
away
just,
with it.
yeah, and the fake keto rebel ice cream and everything.
Man,
Ugh.
that's
Ugh.
just disgusting. It has an aftertaste to it too.
Yeah. It's no bueno. And we have now put Cam to sleep with.
No, wait, we haven't even talked about CrossFit. Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's the thing. This whole time you think you're talking about dieting when all I've heard is shit, poop, fart,
Yes.
etc.
Gets very scatological around this house. I'm gonna tell you.
Because we've so far. Well, I mean, fart. You got to tell us about fart kisses
Yes.
and how why I said that.
Okay, so fart kisses is one of the greatest inventions I have ever come up with. My daughter enjoys scatological poop humor. So it's actually kind of funny. I decided one day I was just going to give her a little zerbert on the side of her cheeks and call it a fart kiss. And she just dies laughing every time it happens, especially in public in front of other people. So you just go up to the cheeks and just blow, and you just get the little fart noise, and she is just in seventh heaven when it happens.
Awesome. Paul says that diets are boring. That's right, because
They
diets are
are.
for women.
Yes.
Yes.
Agree.
Diets are for women.
Yeah.
For women and women.
Yeah, I will say that having had sleep apnea for my entire life and escaping inflammation, I'll take boring.
Yes, boring is good.
Well, diets are for women. Regimen are for men.
Yeah, I'm not right. I'm not on a diet. I'm like Eric. I don't eat sugar and grains. Again, except for the occasional cheat meal. Sugar and grains. Wheat is the devil. It's funny because I can get away with eating a bowl of ice cream pretty well and not really have bad inflammation and all this kind of stuff. But boy, if you put a little loaf of bread in front of me,
yeah,
and if I have a weak moment and eat that, I'm screwed. That wheat is the devil. If people only cut out wheat, they would be doing themselves a great favor.
Yeah, I like to call it grain brain around the office because I could tell when the people have started crashing. I was like, oh, look, grain brain.
Yeah, that's the other thing, right? That you can't really describe it to people, but it's like when you eat, again, like meat, dairy, eggs, your energy levels are like this all the time, whether you're fed or not. Yeah. And my whole life has been like falling asleep at my desk, after eating lunch. Because why? Because I was eating Chinese food, rice, and all that shit.
Yeah. In the Army, we called it dum dum chow. So,
yeah.
I just have to say, wheat and grains are a gift from the Lord.
Distilled, they're fun.
They're delicious. They're delicious. Yeah, they're just the devil. They're delicious. It's the process.
I know you don't drink anymore, Dent.
I don't. I've never had a drink my entire adult life, in fact.
Well, did you have a preference in liquor before you gave it up?
Well, when you quit drinking when you're 16, you can imagine that you weren't choosy at all. And
well,
it was anything that you could find. Pretty much.
My only preference for liquor is in the front. Thank you very much.
I guess I actually kind of liked vodka, to tell you the truth. Even
it just mixes so well with everything.
It just does, It's right. Yeah.
Club soda, a little twist of lime.
Yeah,
sign me up.
Vodka was pretty easy, I have to say.
Yeah.
So Eric, what's your favorite whiskey?
Favorite whiskey?
You can just choose like a general, like you can say, bourbon, scotch, whatever. You don't have to go too specific if you don't want to.
Not brand specific.
You don't
actually,
you can if you want.
Yeah, I'm more of a Scotch guy myself. Yeah, the single malt if I can afford it.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. But just a base Macallan 12 year, just fantastic.
Do you like the peated Scotch?
Lafroig is another favorite of mine too. Yeah. So
have you tried Ardbeg? I
have not. Is it also kind of peaty and smoky?
It is the smokiest thing I've ever put in my mouth.
Nice.
Lafroig if you get an Ardbeg 10.
Lafroig is pretty up there. I mean, it's like, did I just swallow a campfire that was put out with mud?
So, speaking of campfires, the best soap that you can buy as a grown-ass man is a bar of Grandpa's pine tar soap.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
Like, have you tried it, Dent?
No, I was laughing because I watched a video earlier today, Key and Peele called Grown Ass Man. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
You need to, if you can find a bar of Grandpa's Pine Tar Soap, they typically have them at like Whole Foods,
Yeah.
I think. But it smells like a campfire.
It is. It is.
I like that smell. We do the fire pit sometimes once a week, and I like in the fall and winter that my hair always smells a little bit like a campfire.
Yeah.
I
I smoked ribs this weekend, so I think I still smell like mesquite smoke. So,
oh, dude. Oh,
I have to tell you, the only reason I brought up whiskey is because we talked about tobacco and firearms, and I had to get the whole
yes,
ATF.
gotta
Yeah.
get the alcohol in there. Yeah.
ATFU.
Yeah. In Minecraft.
Your show's back. It went on a hiatus for a minute.
Yeah, I went on a little hiatus. I was had this delusion of writing the next great sci-fi novel, and
Okay.
I've got it for the most part done. It's still got a lot of work to do, so I'm just going to come back next week. Will be a episode with the gal from Shotguns and Stilettos, Carrie, and she is rather brash and ball busty, so that'll be kind of fun.
Awesome. And you also do so that's Rebel with the Cause.
Yes.
And you also do, I always want to say Rebel Without a Cause. Like I can't, like I have to stop and think about it.
Yes, thank you, James Dean.
James Franco.
Yeah.
So, but you also do a show, speaking of sci-fi, you do a little show within Peace Freaks with Nick Picone.
Yes, Nikki P and I do Anarchy in Space. Right now, we're covering the entire series of The Expanse. So we just started getting into season 4. I think I've posted episodes going into about midway through season 3. So yeah, you can pick those up. We talk about it.
Yeah, I've watched, I think, a season and a half of that.
Yeah,
I just haven't had time to devote my whole brain to watching it because I feel like I have to pay a lot of attention.
Yeah, that first season is really rough with the exposition. So like the last 3 episodes of the first season is kind of where it all comes together. Seasons 2 and 3, they kind of go by at a pretty quick pace.
Here's a question. The main character, the captain, the guy who kind of becomes captain.
Yeah, Holden.
Does he not remind you of Dave Smith?
He does a little bit.
Because that's all I think about when I watch that show.
It's like, why is Dave
Anarchy
Smith?
in Space.
Yeah. Why is Dave Smith captaining this boat? Why is his character so similar to Captain Ahab with the proto molecule monster? I don't know.
Did you buy any game stonks?
No, unfortunately, I missed the GME blow up on that one. I did get some AMC and some Nokia, but I put stop loss orders in. So before it started dipping down too far the last couple of days, it sold. So that went right back into Bitcoin. So there you go.
Hey, all I know is
I do like that a whole bunch of autists on Reddit spurred a hedge fund and sent them billions under.
all I know is that the call to buy up a bunch of silver, I think, is a secret plot from I always forget his name, the Schiff boy.
Oh, Peter Schiff. Yeah,
Peter Schiff, because I always want to say Adam Schiff.
No, different Schiff.
No, that's Shifty Schiff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a secret plot by Peter Schiff to make
Yes.
money and to prove that crypto is bad.
Yeah, Adam Schiff was the bad guy on season 3 of 24. Is that no? Looks like that guy though. But yeah. No.
You mean the guy who played the president?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, I see that. that. Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
I see that. He always reminded me for some reason of Nixon.
Yes, very Nixon-esque.
I don't know why, but I have the feeling that if I went back today and watched 24, I loved it when I was young.
Yeah.
I have a feeling if I went back and watched it now, I'd just be like unhappy the whole time.
Yeah, the CTU ring in the office phones was my ringtone there for a while. So
mine too. It's actually a pre-programmed ring on like office phones.
Yeah,
and so every company I went to that had those phones, I would change it to that.
What was it? Lucent Technologies. I guess L3. It's one of those. Yeah.
So when will your first episode back?
Gonna be back on Tuesdays because that's
Tuesday?
the best day to do podcasts.
Well, I think Wednesday's better, but
I was doing it on Wednesday there for a while, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to change it up. I tried 5 days a week once. That was stupid. I'll never do that again. So
5 days a week. Oh
Tuesdays are the day that they always chose to release CDs and DVDs and things like that because people are actually paying attention. So I could see where Tuesday would actually be the best day.
Yeah, my numbers went up after doing it on Tuesdays. I played around with it for a little bit. So Wednesdays, I just felt like I was getting drowned out with, Timeline Earth and everybody else. So I was like, okay, I'll just do it on Tuesdays.
I don't know what that is, but yeah.
Yes, Paul, we all did a 24 phase.
Yeah, everyone has had a 24 phase, I think. That's at least a certain age.
I will just put this out there. The chick that played Chloe is available. She is not married anymore. So Mary Lynn Rice Cub.
I saw she's okay. I can't believe how often I mention TikTok now. I saw her. She has a TikTok now.
Yes.
And so she had a TikTok where she was talking about how, I don't know if she acted it out or what, but she was like, so people come up to her and they'll say, how do I know you? And she's like, oh, well, I'm from TV. And they're like, no, not that. Could it be? And they'll start naming things. And she's like, no. It's from television.
Yeah, it's actually pretty funny. She was on this serious TV show with Kiefer Sutherland, and she got her start doing improv. She's a comedian. So.
Well, she was Gail the Snail in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is just incredible.
Yeah.
Salt the Snail.
She was on Tim and Eric once too, wasn't she?
Yeah, I think everyone's kind of went through Tim and Eric at one point. Yeah. It's like free real estate.
Yeah. It's free. It's a free house.
All right, so here's the question. One of the things that I'm trying to push through kind of the change in the name is, and I'll tell you something. I posted the new intro to my show here on Twitter, on Facebook, and in another place. And that other place happened to have Lex Friedman in it.
Yeah.
And then like the next day, the first part of his episode was reading that Jack Kerouac quote on his episode. And I was like, is this coincidence or did you see it, Lex?
Just coincidence. His black tie and his suit got in the way. So
good old Lex.
But yeah, no, one of the things I'm trying to do is embrace hope, because right now we're in a very super dark time. And so
I will take low dosage white pills all day long. So
oh yeah. No, I mean, well, that's the thing. People act like the white pills have to be these grandiose, huge things. And it can be the tiniest little.
No, the GameStop thing that's like the lowest dose of white pills that you can get right now.
Fart kisses.
Yes, fart kisses.
Yeah.
Fart kisses. Jack Posobiec calling out AOC.
Yes. A liar. Yeah.
That was great.
I mean, these are all little white pills along the way. But here's my question. What is something in your life? I mean, you could make it national if you want to be that guy. But what's something that you think you and other people can find some modicum of hope in during this dark time?
Honestly, if you just do a little bit of forethought and do a little bit of planning, maybe don't spend all of your money on useless garbage, maybe squirrel a little bit of it away, maybe plant something out in the backyard that doesn't really take a whole lot of time. So, all right, start with oregano. That's one less thing you're buying from the grocery store. You know what I mean? Just try to do little things here and there, and it'll all add up at some point.
Yeah. You have any new? You haven't spoken to you, Dent, since last year. Has there been anything within this time period, or I guess since the beginning of this year, that you think is a white pill to share?
Oh boy. Wow. I
Don't
think
eat for 5 days.
the things, I mean, the fact that so many things are so obviously falling apart in the corporate press, to me, I think is fantastic, because the people that want to believe the narratives that the corporate press is believing them, there is no way that a large percentage of even those people don't know, well, I just have to act like it's true at this point, because it's very, very easy to see right now. So I do think that there is quite a lot going on with the corporate press coverage of a lot of things. It's so over the top. They cannot help themselves.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's interesting. The fact that conservatives are now not necessarily considering cops to be their best friends, that conservatives are tending to side with anti-war more and more every day, where the left will accept it because they realize that they can't let go of state power and they want to rapidly grow state power. So I think that a lot of conservatives are really open to the idea of liberty more so than ever. And now that they don't have a guy, the bad thing about Trump is that Trump made conservatives, or at least Trump conservatives, feel like things must not be so bad. My guys in office, dude, we were going broke, not as quick, but we were already going broke. And obviously Biden is going to be worse on freedoms and things. I mean, you can already see that coming. And war. You can see those things coming, but I think a lot of those people are finally realizing, wait a minute, I haven't even seen Donald Trump and I hate all this shit. So I would hope that a percentage of them would realize, wait a minute, putting the right guy in there isn't going to get me my freedom back, and it isn't going to get me my money back. So to me, that's the fact that things are being accelerated so quickly. I think it's waking a lot of people up. So I think it's the inability of these people to control themselves. Right. It's right. They just have, everything just has to be, no, right now, this is it, right now, that's it. They can't help themselves. And I think that they're purposely, white or red pilling, a lot of people in the process. So my whole thing is I'm currently looking for land. I'm sure we've talked about that before, but I really am seriously looking for a fair amount of land right now. Just anything in the area of like maybe 40 plus acres, somewhere around there. And my wife is finally on board with it, which is great. To the point where she started asking me the other day, well, don't we have to kind of fix up this place a little bit to get it ready to go on the market? Shouldn't we talk to a real estate agent soon? I was like, yes, we should. Like, I do live in the country, but we've only got like about 2 acres and things like that. I don't want to delete the world, by the way. That's never my intention, but we homeschool and I run my own business as well. So we really have this ability to exist as much on an island as anybody in America.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what views that I hold that are socially conservative and things like that, it doesn't really matter if you look at the way that I live, I've done a lot to delete the world from my family. A lot. Having my own business has been fantastic. But homeschooling the kids is the most important thing, most important decision that we made. We made that decision in the 90s. So.
Yeah, it's one thing I do like to quote Malcolm X on is never let your enemies teach your children. So,
oh my gosh, I mean, it's right, exactly. Yeah, I like what he said about white liberals too. I think it's fantastic.
He just completely called them out for what they were, and it's like,
oh yeah, and you watch these old interviews of these white liberals interviewing him, and they're just incensed.
Yes,
that he is right to their face saying, No. We don't want your help. We don't need your help. We know what your help means. Yeah.
It means a whole bunch of us die and our women become sterile all of a sudden. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot, I think, little, like you said, little microdosing white pills. Like there's a lot out there. And I think that that's what the journey is about. I think one of the best things you can do is embrace the absurdity. I think that frees you up to laugh at the most horrible things, or at least find the good in them. and that's how you find the white pills.
Yeah. Dark
And
humor
so I
isn't
think-
for everybody, but you need it. It's the thing that'll
Oh, yeah.
ground you to life. So
yeah.
I'm a big fan of dark humor. It's like my dad died last year, I think. He's dead. And
at least I'm pretty sure. I did leave him in the chair.
but no,
call him
he died
afterwards.
last year, and like immediately I was making these jokes, and I was like, should I be around my siblings because they're not going to be able to deal with me?
Yes.
But yeah, no, that's the thing. There's so much going on that's like absolutely positive, but you have to look for it. Like one of the things that I think has helped me is like, I think when you walk out in the world, Florida's a little bit better than other places, but when you walk out in the world and everyone's wearing a mask, there's this like weird dystopian fictional, like it's like a dystopian novel. And so like I would see too much of that and I would get depressed.
Yeah.
Not because I was depressed about this, that, or the other, just like what the fuck world are we living in?
Yeah.
And so once I was able to stop like binging all the COVID news and peel back from that and just start looking, because I know what they're doing. I know what their tools are. I know what's happening. It's just about fighting them where I can. Right. And the best thing that I can do to fight them is to live my life the way I want to live it.
Yeah. Revenge is a life well lived. So.
Right. And so I think that's the beauty of the world. And that's kind of what this new iteration of the show is about, is, you know, to those outside of, I think, our circles, we're all kind of seen as a little crazy, as a little mad.
Yeah. And
so just the truth is so many, I mean, not everyone in our circles is sane, but like the mad ones are the ones who are actually seeing through the veneer. They're seeing through the narrative. I mean, look at the corporate media tried to paint that insurrection as this horrible thing, and Trump incited it. And I read an article about how every legal person is saying you can't get him on incitement. He didn't incite anything.
Right.
Yeah. There's a legal definition for incitement, and what he said was not it. So,
and it's so good to see those break down. Those narratives just automatically go, oh wait, they lost.
Yeah.
They're grasping at straws.
If you want a good white pill, sign out of Twitter, go find one of those tweets, and then look at the comments underneath. Now, the reason why I say sign out of Twitter is so that you don't see the people that follow you that also commented.
Right.
So now you're just getting a straight feed of who commented underneath this. And a lot of those are very negative. There's a reason why they instituted, you know, if I don't follow anybody, they can't comment. So sign out of Twitter sometimes, check some of those comment threads, and it's you'll be a little bit amazed.
I'm going to have to try that.
Yeah.
Well, Dent, Eric, thank you for coming on and christening this show without Jessica, who I know is very disappointed.
Oh, are we recording?
Yeah.
Do we start recording now? Everyone take a shot.
But yeah, thank you for coming on, Jessica. If you listen to this, I hope you do. I miss you. And so does Dent and Eric. So
fart kisses through the microphone and through the internet tubes and directly to your cheeks.
The liberal kitchen witch.
Yes.
Well, she's no longer the libertarian kitchen witch anymore.
Soup can.
I know.
Soup can.
The last episode, I nicknamed her Soup
Which is not
Can.
a very flattering name for such an attractive woman. You don't want to call her Soup Can. I mean,
Soup can.
it's like, what do you
do, though?
You're short and cylindrical. Look at you.
She's embraced it, though. She embraced the absurdity.
Andy Warhol finds you interesting.
But like I said, thank you guys for coming on. If you would like to find Eric's show, just search for Rebel with a Cause.
That's right.
Also, check out Nick and Lizzie Picone's show, Peace Freaks, to find his episodes with Nick called Anarchy in Space, which has been really just about the Expanse so far. Are you going to go into like Heinlein and other stuff?
Yeah, we were thinking about maybe branching off and hitting a couple of different shows, like Future Man, or maybe a couple of movies here and there. So yeah, something that me and Nick talk about all the time. So
Cool.
but he
And
was
if you
really
wanna
into the Expanse and wanted to talk about it first. So
I understand it. If you want to find Eric on Twitter, you can find him at Eric the Red 79. That's ERIC. No K's in there.
Right.
Eric the Red 79. No Q's. None of that. No.
Yeah. Bird would like to call me the C speller because I spell my Eric name with a C.
No redheaded libertarian.
Well, what's left?
Oh,
There's some red in there. Wow, just completely misspell it. Look at that. No. Jesus.
Good
That poor
Lord.
fucker, whoever got that one. Look at him. Wow.
Is there anywhere else you want people to find you besides Twitter?
Yeah, you can look me up on YouTube, BitChute, also Library/Odyssey. I got all my stuff over there. So, and then also the website is rebelwithacausepodcast.com. So there you go.
Awesome. And if you want to find Dent, go to his Twitter at Dent in the World. And if you want a microphone, go to zenproaudio.com.
I might have to hit you up. Replace this $20 piece of POS right here. So.
What is that? What kind of mic is that?
Excelivan, if I'm saying that right, some Chinese crap. So it was $20.
Hit me up. I'll give you
$20,
some suggestions.
$20. Yeah, so if you want a microphone, zenproaudio.com. If you want to find me, I changed my Twitter handle. I'm no longer This Is MLGA because Make Liberty Great Again died with the Trump era.
Yes.
So I am just me. I'm at Cam Harless. If you want to follow the show page, there's not going to be much but show announcements and retweets. That's We Are the Mad. If you want to find my beloved co-host Jessica Green, her new handle is at Soup Canarchist.
Yes. And I love
wonderful. If you want to check out our website, we just put it up with all the rebranding. It looks nice and pretty. It's wearethemadOnes.com. I finally, on YouTube, got my personalized URL.
Nice.
So it's youtube.com/themadOnes.
I think I'm 27 away. So
Are you going to change your locals page?
I did. If you want to join my locals, you can check that out at themadOnes.locals.com.
Yep,
where you can, I have it at the lowest amount, $2. If you want to join and hang out with Dent and me and Jessica and Ryan from Techno Agrist for some reason, you can do it there.
Hey, he deserves to be there. Okay.
He does deserve to be here.
Yes.
And with that, I'm going to sign this thing out. So once again, thank you guys. And to the audience, try your best to embrace the absurdity, do things that make you happy, live the life you want to live, how you want to live it, and try to plant some seeds of hope along the way. And I'm going to have to work on my outro tag there, but
yeah, just a little bit. Jeez,
yeah, I'm telling you, well, it's pretty rough, but we'll get there. We'll get there. All right, thank you guys, and
thank you.
See you later, audience.
See you guys.